Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. And Karina is waiting for her green card to get a process, adjudicate her work permit. She's already been working this week. And this is your YouTube channel. This is the place to go for free information on how to process a K1 visa, how to process a green card, how to process a tourist visa and a spousal visa, and how you can avoid making stupid errors, stupid mistakes that's going to cost you time and it's going to cost you headaches and it's going to cause you stress. Okay? It's important that you understand the process, and I give you all this information for free. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't work for the State Department. I don't work for any of these companies that charge you all this money to process a very simple green card and K1 visa application and a spousal visa. Even a tourist visa is not difficult, okay? But you can't make stupid mistakes. If you apply for your K1 visa, you put a fantastic package together, you put a great package together, you don't make any mistakes on the I-129F. It's not very many pages. It's easy to fill out. You got all your evidence collected. You got all your photographs and everything. You got your receipts, your boarding passes, your passports, everything. You put together a fantastic K1 visa application, but you fill out the check for the wrong amount for the K1 visa, or you don't fill out the check properly. You got to make the check out to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And if you don't put the right amount on the check, now at the K1 visa process, when you mail to Louisville, Texas, they're just going to cancel the process. They're going to send it back to you and tell you to reapply. So you lost time. Don't make those mistakes, guys. Yaha Conte, hi Diego and Karina. Yaha, what's going on? How is everything? Angel Tate, hi Diego and Karina. Karina, how do you like your new job? ¿Te gusta tu trabajo? She said she loves her new job. She's very happy. And she gets to make some extra money. She's in the system. That means that the U.S. government has got her tax information on file with her W-4. So she has commenced contributing to her FICA tax, which is what? What is the FICA tax? What is that? That's your Social Security, right? So Karina has started paying into her Social Security, which is for the future. Now, she's young. She's got a long way to go for Social Security, but she has started the process, okay? When you come to the United States, get your green card, get your work permit, whatever order you get it. Probably you want to just get your green card now because the work permits cost you $265, something like that. Start work and start getting into the system. Start paying into the system. Start contributing to Medicaid, your Social Security, your FICA. Start paying some federal taxes. All that stuff, all that will help you when you come to become a U.S. citizen. When you apply for your 10-year green card, immigration is going to want to see your last couple of tax returns. So you're going to file your tax returns with your husband or your wife as a joint married filing jointly. So when I file my taxes in 2025, it's going to be my name and Karina's name on the 1040. It's going to be a joint tax return. Karina's making some money. Okay, so we're going to put it all together and pay our taxes, and then we'll do it again in 2026. And then she applies for her 10-year green card. Karina will be on the record on her taxes, on our taxes, saying that it shows where she lives and that she started the process. She started contributing primarily into her Social Security account. Okay, you guys, when you get to America, foreign nationals, you want to get your green card, start work, and start contributing into your FICA account, so that when you become 62, 63, 64, 65, whatever, when you reach that age, and you will reach that age, the time will come and you will be 62 years old, okay? There's no way escaping it. The earth is rotating around the sun the sun's rotating around the galaxy, and the galaxy's rotating around whatever we don't know. But time passes, and one day you're going to be 62, and it's very important that you start contributing to your Feker account. Now, also, the heading of this live stream is, pay the correct fee for your green card, for your K1 visa, for your spousal visa, for your tourist visa. When you apply for your K1 visa, make sure you fill out the check to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Don't pay with a credit card. Don't pay with money orders. Fill out a check. Write a check. Make sure you put the correct amount down. Otherwise, immigration's going to send everything back to you, and they're going to say, this account is closed. Now you're going to have to redo it with a new account. You're going to have to start from the beginning, okay? Put the paperwork together again. So it's very, very important that you make copies, at least 2 copies of your K1 visa application, okay? Before you submit your K1 visa package to the Louisville, Texas, make 2 copies. One for you, Mr. Sponsor, and one for your beneficiary. And then also, it comes in handy if there's a mistake and immigration send everything back to you, you have a complete copy ready to go for a second time. But first, make sure you fix the error on the mistake that you made on the first time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's suppose you send off your K1 visa application and the immigration folks in Louisville, Texas, they lose it. What if you send it and it gets lost and you don't make a copy of it, of all your documents, of all your evidence, of all your boarding passes? Then you're in big trouble, right? Then you're in big trouble. It's very important you make a copy of everything before you send it to Louisville. Alfredo Miranda, if we only submitted the I-485 to no work permit, no travel permit, will the processing time for the I-45 be faster? No, it's not going to be any faster. If you don't want a travel permit, that's great. If you don't want a work permit, that's great. But it goes to different departments. So this department processes work permits. This department processes travel documents. And this department processes I-485s. So it's not for I-485. It's not going to be any quicker, okay? But why do you need a travel document? You don't need one. You come to America, right? You come to get married to your American citizen sponsor to live in America, not to travel a few days or a few weeks or a few months into the process. You're not going to fly back to where you came from unless there's a medical emergency. But even those can be overcome via a Skype, I'm sure. When you get married, come to America, live in America. Don't waste your money. Why? It's like $600 plus. It's over $600 for a advanced parole document. It's $265, I believe, is the price for the work permit. Right now, I would just apply for the green card and the biometrics. Save your money. Why would you want to spend close to $2,000, okay, for one green card? And then you get the advanced parole. It's only good for what, a year? And then when it expires, if you still haven't got your green card, which you will have, then you got to reapply for that. It's insanity. Apply for your green card. Apply for your biometrics. Pay USCIS the correct amount. Use a check. Make the check out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. U.S. Department of Homeland Security. If you make a mistake on the check, if the amount isn't correct, and you put a fantastic green card package together, you got all this paperwork, all these albums of information, and you send it with the wrong amount of money, it's all going to come back. Or they may just destroy everything. Immigration might just send you a letter and say, you have to resubmit everything because you paid the incorrect amount of money. And they'll just shred all your hard work. They'll put it in a shredder. Do you hear what I'm saying? Ajali. 3 Minute Soccer. Hey, Diego. Hello. What's going on, 3 Minute Soccer? How's your family doing? Ajali. Hi, Diego. And Karina. Happy Saturday. Hope as well. Good to see you back, Karina. Karina is sick. Karina. Diego, were you able to look into U.S. travel docs to see why I'm not able to book in a biometrics and an interview? I looked in there and I went into the Dominican Republic, but I don't have a receipt number or a case number, so they wouldn't let me enter the actual processing. Okay, so what I did was I emailed the embassy and I sent them an email and asked them why are they having such a hard time scheduling K1 visa interviews. So I emailed the embassy yesterday, okay, but they haven't replied back to me yet. Give them a couple of days. So I went into U.S. travel docs to try to process it like you are, but I don't have a case number. Not for the Dominican Republic. You got to have a case number to open up the account and take a look. But other people are getting their K1 visas adjudicated in the Dominican Republic. I don't see what the problem is. I really don't. But I emailed the embassy for you, so I'm just waiting on them, okay? 3 Minute Soccer. NOA 1 was April 29th, 2024. NOA 2 was June 12th, 2024. Wait a second. You got from NOA 1 to NOA 2 in what? 6 weeks? They're speeding up the process. When should I expect a welcome letter? That's pretty quick. 6 weeks. 6 semanas. Proceso NOA 1, 1, 2, 2, let the carta 2. That's fast, man. I would say you get a welcome letter in about a month or two, but I've never seen anything that fast. But I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute for that fantastic, fast processing. That's amazing. That's amazing. April 29th, 2024, NOA 1, June 12th, 2024. So how many days is that? April, so that's what? April, May, and then you said June 12th? That's 44 days. That's a month. That's just over a month from NOA 1 to NOA 2. Alfredo Miranda, I hear that you have to schedule your own biometrics. However, we have been notified that our biometrics has been scheduled and NOA is on its way. Alfredo, let me ask you this. Are you trying to schedule biometrics for a K1 visa interview, or are you waiting for a biometrics appointment for your green card? Which one is it? Help me out, Alfredo. I try to remember. You're asking me which one is it. I'm asking you, is your biometrics? Let me explain to the process. When you're going for your K1 visa interview, except for Ciudad Juarez in Mexico, you scheduled the biometrics for your beneficiary. I scheduled Karina's biometrics in Bogota, Colombia. When she got to the my wife's adjustment of status. Okay, for the adjustment of status, immigration schedules the biometrics for you. When you pay, when you send in your adjustment of status paperwork, when you apply for your green card, you pay for the green card and you pay for the biometrics. Then you wait for the biometrics letter, which is right here. Karina's is right here. Here, this is her biometrics. Okay. Immigration sent Karina this letter, and it said, case status online was as biometrics appointment was scheduled. Then she got a letter in the mail telling her biometrics appointment was in New Orleans, in Louisiana. We live in the Panhandle of Florida. So when we got the appointment, when the date came around, Karina's biometrics appointment was in New Orleans. The day before her biometrics appointment, we left Florida. We checked into the Holiday Inn Hotel in New Orleans, which is a 2-minute walk to immigration. We spent the weekend in New Orleans. We drove to New Orleans when was it Viernes? Okay, so we drove to New Orleans on Thursday, and we spent the night. We got up early Friday morning, went to her biometrics, did the biometrics, and then we checked out of the hotel and we explored Bourbon Street. We took a tour around New Orleans, Bogota. We took a tour around New Orleans, and then we came home. So to answer your question, Alfredo, you are waiting for your letter for your biometrics. For immigration schedules it for the green card. Ajali, no problem. We're here to help you. I'm just waiting on the Dominican Republic, see what they got to say. 3 minutes soccer, less than 2 months. Yeah, that's fast. I was shocked when I got the notification. Well, we are too. That's the fastest I've ever seen, and even back before COVID. Back 10 years ago, I've never seen it that fast. But congratulations, by the way. Yaha Conte, what is the poverty guideline in Massachusetts? The poverty guideline in Massachusetts. Let me see here. Massachusetts. What's the family size? What's the family size? Yaha Conte, what is your family size? 1, 2 people? It's not one person. 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. How many people are in your family for the green card? Ajali, I just logged on again. No new appointments are on the dashboard, so I went to the calendar and picked a date. And then, as usual, it says no appointments available. Press back button, pick another date. And if I keep picking dates, it will block me. I mean, that's crazy, Ajali. But I emailed the embassy, okay? So we'll give them a couple of days. We'll see what happens. I'm going to help you. You should be able to schedule a freaking appointment at the embassy in the Dominican Republic. You should be able to do it. Yaha Conte, just me and my wife. Okay, so 2 people. For the green card, the minimum income you got to make is $25,550. That's for the green card. But if you make $25,550, even though you're right on the line, immigration is going to want to see a joint sponsor. My recommendation, now this isn't legal advice. I don't give you guys any legal advice. But my recommendation is you got to make at least $30,000 a year for a family of 2 to qualify for the green card. At least $30,000, okay? For the K1 visa, the minimum income is $20,440, okay? But once you get to the United States, you got to apply for the green card. Then you got to be making at least 30 grand. So my advice to you is if you don't make more than $30,000 a year, if you make less than $30,000 a year and you're a family of 2, get a joint sponsor before you apply for your K1 visa, okay? Yaha, you got it? Ajali, I just logged in again. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, maybe we should do. I want to maybe have a congressman or a senator send him a letter. Maybe it's the problem is with U.S. travel docs. Maybe there's a software glitch, but I don't think so, because I've seen people get their visas approved in the Dominican Republic just a couple of days ago. They had their face-to-face. Yaha Conte, we make $38,000, but we have an RFE. What was the RFE for? What's the RFE? You make $38,000 a year, and you got an RFE. What is it for? You got to help me out. I mean, unless you don't want to tell anybody. If you don't want to tell us, then I understand. But you got to make at least 30 grand a year at a minimum for a family of 2, or you're going to get immigration is going to want to see a joint sponsor. It depends on who the immigration attorney is. Okay, so you got an RFE on the affidavit of support. What did they say? You make enough money. It says right here, you make more than enough money. So what was the RFE? Did you make a mistake filling the paperwork out, or did immigration ask you for a joint sponsor? Did they ask you for a joint sponsor? Is that what they're asking for? Help me out so I can help you. But you got to make at least $30,000 a year to qualify for the green card for a family of 2. The more than 30,000, 31, 32, 33,000. Okay. If you make 30, if you don't make that kind of money, if you're making 30, 31, 30, even then I would get a joint sponsor. But $38,000 is more than enough money. Ajali, can you give me the email to the embassy in the Dominican Republic? Maybe I can email them also. Yeah, I give it to you. But right now I'm doing the live stream, so I'll have to look it up for you. And my cell phone is on charge back in the back of the house right now. But I will give you the information so you can contact the embassy. Today, what's today? Saturday? So on Monday, I'll do a live stream Monday. I'll give you the information, and I'll give you so you can contact them. I want you to be able to schedule your interview. It's crazy. The Dominican Republic are processing visas. Yaha, what was you said to me that they sent you an RFE on the affidavit of support. In the letter, in the affidavit of support, in the RFE, in the letter from immigration, what are they asking? Are they asking for a joint sponsor? Which doesn't make sense because you make enough money. But if they're asking for a joint sponsor, then this immigration officer wants to see a joint sponsor, even though you make that kind of money. So, you got to give me more information. You make $38K, that's more than enough for a family of two. When you filled out the I-864, the affidavit of support, when you filled it out, did you have is your debt to income ratio high? Do you have a lot of debt? Do you owe a lot of money? Do you have a big house payment? Do you have big 2 car payments? Immigration look at your debt to income ratio when you fill out the I-864. They look at how much you make and how much money do you owe somebody. Do you have a big house payment? Do you have car payments? Do you have more than 1 car payment? Do you have furniture payments? And then they take all that into account to figure out what your real true income is. Once they've subtracted all that from their calculations, then immigration decides if you need a joint sponsor or not. So, I know it's a thing. It's a difficult process to go through. And I know you're getting frustrated, okay? But at least you know that immigration has looked at your green card application. They opened it up. They've taken a look at it, and they sent you an RFE. In the RFE, did they ask you for a joint sponsor? I don't know what was the letter. What was in the RFE? Did you make any mistakes on the paperwork? Do you have to resubmit the I-864? Did you forget something? Did you not check the box that you are subject to the public charge? What is the RFE? I'm trying to help you, man, but I can't help you unless you give me a little bit more information. The secret to this process, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is to be very accurate and very honest and submit lots of evidence of your immigration request. Okay? Evidence, evidence, evidence. When you file for your K-1 visa, make sure you submit 20, 30 pictures of your family and friends. I was with Karina in Colombia, and I got lots of pictures with her brothers and with her nieces and nephews and her friends. Karina's got lots of friends, I tell you. She got lots of friends, okay? And I got pictures with just about all of them, right? And all those, and then I put the names of the person in the picture, the date the picture was taken, where was the picture taken. This picture was taken in Calle 55 in Bogota, Colombia. When you submit your green card application, make sure you submit a strong green card application. And if you feel that your income isn't sufficient, if your debt to income ratio is kind of high, if you feel like you owe, if you've got a lot of debt, a lot of bills, even that, let's suppose you make $40,000 a year, but you got 20 grand going out in debt. You got house payments, car payments, immigration take that all into account. They want to make sure that you can take care of your beneficiary when he or she gets to the United States. That's why they do. That's why they put the affidavit of support in there. And what are the rules of the affidavit of support? When you sign that form, what are the rules? You're responsible for your beneficiary financially for 10 years. You're responsible for her or him until she becomes a U.S. citizen. Until, when you sign that I-864, you promise immigration that you're going to take good care of your beneficiary. Financially, medically, everything. Alfredo Miranda, after attending the biometrics, how long should my wife expect to hear for her green card? Sent to Chicago, Illinois from California. So if you live in California, okay, let's see here. You live in California, and I got all the information here. I got all the answers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you live in California, you mail your green card application to Chicago. That's correct. It should take about 5 months, 4 to 5 months, probably the max 6 months to get the green card. 4 to 5 months. Ajali, can my fiance go to the embassy for assistance? Absolutely. Yes. Have your fiance go to the embassy, the U.S. Embassy, and ask for help, because you have done everything you can do with U.S. travel docs. Okay? When I was in the United States and Karina was in Bogota, Colombia, I got this email from the National Visa Center that said the U.S. Embassy in Bogota was closed because of COVID in 2023. I'm like, this is absolutely insane, because I know I was just in Colombia and we were just down by the embassy, and people were coming in and out of there like there's nothing wrong. So Karina, she called the embassy in Bogota and said, hey, are you guys closed because of COVID? And the lady said, what's your passport number? Karina gave her passport number. She said, what's your receipt number? She gave her the receipt number and her name. And then she said, okay, no, we're not closed for COVID. We are wide open and processing K1 visas, but we're busy. So the NVC, the National Visa Center, sent me an email, and probably 100 other people the same email, saying the embassy in Bogota was closed because of COVID. It was not true. It was not true. Karina said, the NVC just told my fiance that you guys are closed because of COVID. And then the embassy sent me an email personally and said, Diego, we're not closed because of COVID. We're just busy. And that's all I needed to hear. So the NVC was sending out this BS information. Ajali, yes, you're a beneficiary. Call the embassy, call them. Get them on the phone and ask questions. Sylvan Spector, Diego, my income on 2023 tax return was bordering $30,000. But in November, I got a promotion, and now I'm on track to make well over $40,000 for this year. And I saved all my check stubs. Good job. Do you like my Mountain Dew hat? This was a gift. Karina bought me this yesterday for Father's Day. I'll give you a Mountain Dew salute, Sylvan. If you can prove your income with pay stubs and banks and direct deposits, how do you get paid? Do you get paid direct deposit? If you get paid direct deposit, the bank statement is going to show where the income is coming in. Then get you a yellow highlighter and highlight the direct deposits, include it with your pay stubs, have your boss write a letter saying that you make $40,000 a year or thereabouts for 2024, right? And then you're good. You have the evidence to back it up. Do you think this is acceptable? It is if you do what I just said. I'm worried they will value last year's income more than the present year. They will look at last year's income, yes, because that's the tax return that you have. They're going to look at it. They looked at my last year's tax return. I was in Colombia for a freaking year, right? My income went down here. But I wrote a letter, and I got all my pay stubs and my bank statements and direct deposits, and I highlighted it. And my broker wrote a letter saying, yeah, Diego was in Colombia, so his income went down. Now it's going up. You got to prove it. If you really are worried about it, Sylvan, get a joint sponsor. If you have a little bit of a gut trepidation, go ahead and get a joint sponsor, okay? And then you're covered. Then you got it covered. Is it acceptable? $40,000 a year? Yeah. It's more than enough for a family of two. Okay? But you got all your check stubs. Okay, but you got all your check stubs, but do you have proof that the money went into the bank? Do you have direct deposit? Every time I get paid, now Karina has a job working. When she gets paid, it's going to be direct deposit. And then my bank's going to show her bank, our bank, the Soul Trust Bank, it's going to show where her company paid her direct deposit. So when we apply for the 10-year green card, we're still waiting for the 2-year green card. But when we apply for her 10-year green card, those bank statements will be included in the 10-year green card application. I will highlight the bank statements. Boom, 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 boom. Yaha Conte. They said based on the documents submitted, they could not determine that petitioner's sponsor on Form I-64 affidavit of support is qualified. Okay, Yaha Conte, here's what you didn't do. You didn't include 12 months worth of bank statements showing your income. You didn't get 6 months worth of pay stubs showing your income. You didn't get a letter from the boss stating this is how much the sponsor makes. All you did was submit a tax return. That's not good enough. I can make a tax return probably. I could probably go on a computer and make up a tax return and sign it, right? It's not good enough. You got to have W-2s, your 1040, your tax transcript, letter from the boss saying how much money you make, 12 months worth of bank statements, 6 months worth of pay stubs. All that gets combined. Immigration look at it and they say you're good to go. But if you didn't submit enough information financially, if all you did was submit an I-864 and a 1040 and a W-2, it's not strong enough evidence for income. And it says right here, based on the documents you submitted. Well, you didn't submit any documents because if you did, they would have approved it. They could not determine that the petitioner's sponsor on Form I-864 affidavit of support is qualified. They couldn't. They couldn't. You didn't submit enough information. Sylvan, listen to what Yaha, look at what Yaha is telling everybody. Yaha makes $38,000, close to $40,000 a year, right? The income is sufficient. But you got to prove it with what I just said to you guys. A 1040 isn't going to cover it. A tax transcript is good, but you got to have more, okay? When I submitted Karina's green card application, I had 12 months of bank statements, 6 months of pay stubs, my tax return, my 1099. I don't get a W-2 because I'm self-employed. I don't get a W-2. I get a 1099, okay? If you're not quite there, if you can't prove the income, you can't prove it just with a 1040. You got to go way above and beyond. Immigration is getting strict. If you apply for a K-1 visa and you fill out the check incorrectly, if you don't put the right amount on the check, they're canceling the whole thing and they're going to make you redo it. And they're going to probably shred the visa application you sent. So you're lucky, Yaha, they didn't make you redo the whole package. But they're telling you they want to see what I just told you. If you can get that information when you submit the RFE, okay? So when you respond to the RFE, get your bank statements, get a letter from the boss, get your pay stubs, get your tax transcript, okay? And that's what they want to see, not just a 1040. You got it? Questions, guys? Do you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, on anything to do with a K-1 visa or a green card? We went over a lot of stuff here on the financial side of it. I've gone over a lot of stuff on when you submit your package. When you submit your K-1 visa application, make sure you don't forget to sign it and date it in black ink. Make sure that you have at least 30 or 40 pictures of you together with family and friends. Immigration, you can put some selfies in your K-1 visa application, but it's not sufficient. I can make a selfie Photoshop on a computer. It's easy to Photoshop a selfie, but it's not easy to Photoshop a family group picture, okay? Immigration is very, very strict, especially on the financial side. They don't want you to come here and then your beneficiary, you can't support her. Aquarius is in the house. Hi, Diego and Karina. Can the evidence be 3 months out like a bank statement before the interview? Because I printed out all the paperwork already, but what interview is later? What's the question? Aquarius. Repeat the question. Can the evidence be 3 months out like a blank statement, like a bank statement? You got to have immigration. 3 months isn't enough. They want to see more. Immigration want to see at least a year's worth of income. Well, how do you prove it? I printed 12 months worth of bank statements. for Karina's green card application. Her green card application went into Chicago with 12 bank statements. It didn't have to, you don't have to print out the whole dang thing, but just the pages where it shows the income and the direct deposit and the date. And the income was highlighted. Okay? Immigration were clear in their mind, in their head. They could see very clearly how much money was going in the bank. And it matched up with the 1040, right? I couldn't get a tax transcript because I filed my taxes in January of 2024, and we applied for Karina's green card in February 29th, 2024. So I couldn't get a tax transcript. So I had to prove my income with bank statements, pay stubs, etc. A letter from my boss, I included that. My broker, he said, yeah, Diego was in Colombia for 11 months. He wasn't doing squat. He was making videos with YouTube. All right? Aquarius, now I have the year's worth of income. I was wondering if I printed out all my documents for June and interviews in August, would that be good for the council? Oh, okay, I gotcha. They probably want to see a July. So the interview's in August. You want to have at least July's last statement, okay, for income. At least July. Don't worry about August. In the interviews in August, don't worry about getting August. But try and get July also, okay? Yaha Conte, thank you so much. Okay, Yaha, you got it, right? You got it. You know what you're missing from the green card application. You know what to put in the green card application for the RFE now, right? You know what's missing. Sylvan Spector, a question about the debt ratio you were talking about. Do they subtract your rent and monthly bills from your pay and say that your adjusted gross income? It depends on how much money you make, okay? They don't know how much your rent's going to be. But then if you have a house payment, let's suppose you use your house as an asset in the green card application. You're going to put the price of your house minus the money you owe on it, and that leaves you with your equity. They'll look at that. But on page 14 of the affidavit, they ask you, what's your debt? They ask you, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. The immigration, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out what your income is in regards to what your debt is. They're not going with the gross. You're asking me here, do they subtract your rent and monthly bills? They don't know what your rent is and your monthly bills are unless you tell them. Did you tell them how much your rent is and how much your monthly bills are? If you don't tell them, how are they supposed to know? But let me see here. On page 13 of I-485, they're asking you about public charge, right? Everybody, yes, you're subject to the public charge. And then what is your household size? And then he asks you, what is your household size? And then you put 2, 3, or whatever. Then they ask you, what's your annual household income? That comes off of your last tax return. Then they want you to identify the total value of your household assets. Then you check the box, which one applies to you. Jeff Draper, look at you, man. Look at that, Jeff. Look at that super chat. Jeff Draper. Diego. It's a super sticker, a correction. Diego, as I understand it, the first thing I need to do post-marriage is to file the adjustment of status form. Is it faster to apply for the Social Security number separately or just use option on page 2 you spoke about? Listen, Jeff, here's what you do. If you want to put your wife, you got married, you get married, everything's good, and you want to put your wife on your bank statements because you want to include your bank statements in your green card application. How do you put your wife on your bank statements? You got to get her a Social Security number. You get married, or before you get married if you want to, go to the Social Security office and apply for your wife's Social Security card. It takes about 10 days to come in the mail from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. They'll mail it to you. With the Social Security card, go to the bank, put your wife on your bank account and get a joint account. They will accept the Social Security number, and then you wait a month for a bank statement to come in, and it's going to have your name on it and Jeff. It's going to be Jeff and your wife's name on the bank statement as a joint owner. Print that and include it in your green card application. Very powerful stuff. It shows joint commingling of funds. Okay. Now, as a real estate agent, you don't want to commingle funds because it's illegal. But that's another story. But in a green card application, you want to get your wife a Social Security number. You want to then put her on the bank, on your bank statements, and then put those bank statements in your green card application. Jeff Draper, you get a Mountain Dew salute for that fantastic super sticker. And I hope I answered your question. Your question is it faster to apply for the Social Security number separately? Yes, it is. It's much faster. And then when you get it, you put your wife on the bank account. And then when you fill out the form 485, you on page 2, you tell immigration, I already got a Social Security number. Thank you very much. I don't need for you to apply for one for me via the Social Security Administration. Mountain Dew salute. Jeff, tell me you understood what I just said. Jeff, tell me, give me. Aquarius, hey Diego and Karina, can the evidence be 3 months out? I would get up to July, Aquarius. Jeff Draper, got it. There, look at that. Jeff, I earned that super sticker, right? I earned it, right? That's Hardy's breakfast tomorrow. Aquarius, I have the year's worth of income. I was wondering if I printed out the documents. Get to July, okay? Aquarius. Sylvan Spector, a question about the debt ratio you were talking about. Do they subtract your rent? They don't know how much rent you make or how much rent you pay. They don't know what your monthly bills are unless you tell them. So they can't figure out your adjusted gross income. But what they look at is on the 485, you have to tell them what's your income. And then they ask you what are your liabilities. They ask you what are your liabilities. So on page 13 of the I-485, you say, well, my total income is, let's say, 52,000 to 85,000. And then you come on to page 14 and they ask you what are your total liabilities, and you're going to say, if it's over, let's say it's over $186,000. That's a lot of debt. So you got to be able to prove to immigration what your income is with bank statements, letter from your boss, pay stubs, etc. You got it? Tell me you understand what I'm saying here. Jeff Draper, breakfast for Tokyo. Desayuno para Tokyo. And yeah, Tokyo's got a friend. He's got this friend. Tokyo's made it. He's got, I don't know if it's a girl cat or a boy cat. I don't know. But this cat hangs out under the window and they chat. Tokyo and this cat. I think he's like a cat that lives in the woods. I don't know. But he just sits out here and chats with Tokyo. Sylvan Spector, thanks Diego. You got it. I'm here for you guys, okay? Jeff Draper, your Hardee's must be cheaper than ours. Yeah, it's like, it would be actually for 2 big breakfast platters and a small coffee, it's like $12, I think. So your super chat will cover 95% of, it's going to cover 100% of Karina's big breakfast tomorrow. But it's going to cover 95% for both of us. So we appreciate you. And what's important, though, is that you understand the information I'm giving to you, so to help you. It's cheaper than paying an immigration attorney $200 a minute to give you advice, right? There you go, Jeff. Espe, greetings, Diego and Karina. Congratulations to you ongoing success. Well, you know, the K-1 visa process is not easy. It's a difficult thing to do mentally, okay, because you're under all this waiting. You're like, waiting and waiting. It's a lot of stress, a lot of waiting, and a lot of waiting, and a lot of waiting. And that's the hard part. And then you're wondering if you made a mistake because immigration hasn't contacted you. And then you think the immigration is ignoring you. And then you think immigration lost your paperwork because they haven't contacted you. And then you think all these things. You keep creating all these scary evolutions in your mind, and probably none of them are right. When you submit a K-1 visa application, immigration responds and accepts it. Immigration has your case. They haven't forgotten about you. When you get the NVC welcome letter, it could take 2 months, 3 months. When it goes from the NVC then is at the mercy of the embassy. Okay, the U.S. embassies are controlling this whole game via the State Department. So the embassy in Bogota, Colombia is busy. The embassy in Bangkok, Thailand isn't busy. They're busy, but they're not very busy. The Dominican Republic are processing K-1 visas. We just got to figure out what's the problem for Ajali. So you put together your K-1 visa package and you mail it off and you don't hear nothing. So you get a little bit concerned. You're like, well, what's going on? But everything's fine. Everything is good. Okay? When you apply for your green card, if you don't get a text message from immigration, well, you won't get a text message from immigration if you don't include Form G1145. But if you include Form G1145 in your green card application, when immigration open it up and take it out of the box, they get the G1145, they're going to send you a text message with a receipt number on it, a receipt number for the green card and for the biometrics. Okay? If you apply for a work permit, you're going to get a receipt number for the work permit. If you apply for the advanced parole, you'll get a receipt number for the advanced parole. So you get a text message with 4 receipt numbers: the green card, the biometrics, the work permit, and the advanced parole. But eliminate the work permit and the advanced parole. It's a waste of money. Don't waste your money. Jeff Draper, we'll get Tokyo something too. Tokyo's part of this, right? SBA. When providing bank statements on my bank app, I can specifically search my jobs direct deposits. It puts them in chronological order. I think I can just print them in the particular listed format. That's what you're going to do. Immigration couldn't care less what you bought at Walmart. They don't care what you spent at Home Depot or AutoZone. They just want to see how much money's going in your account. Okay? Direct deposits is all they want to see. Jeff Draper, fiance, told me the interview in Bogota was nothing like the nightmare seen on many videos. Said it was pleasant. Yeah, it was pleasant. Now, Karina was from Venezuela. She's from Venezuela, but she lived in Colombia for almost 6 years. So her K-1 visa interview was a little different. Okay? They asked her like 11 or 12 questions, basically because she's a Venezuelan living in Colombia. Normally, a Venezuelan going through the Bogota, Colombia interview process lives in Venezuela, flies to Bogota, goes to the interview, and gets the visa. But Karina lived in Colombia for 6 years. So it was a little bit more stringent. Why? I don't know. But she answered every question, bam, bam, bam. But congratulations on getting that done, Jeff. SBA. All right. There you go. SBA. You got it, right? So, if you can print your proof of direct deposits, that's all immigration care about. And then they'll look at your tax return and your tax transcript and your pay stubs. They'll look at the pay stubs. Do the pay stubs match the direct deposit going in? The pay stub matches the direct deposit. Now, I don't get a pay stub from the Navy. I'm retired military. I don't get a pay stub. All I get is a direct deposit. Here's your retirement check. Have a nice day. So I don't have pay stubs from them. But my job in real estate or whatever, under the 1099, I got pay stubs from that. They went in the green card application. So, everything I submitted matched up. The direct deposit, the pay stubs, the 1040, the 1099, everything comes together. Immigration shuffles the deck, and they look at it and they go, okay, boom, everything's good. And if you get an RFE, if you submit your I-864, your affidavit of support, and you don't include pay stubs, bank statements, letter from your boss saying how much money you made, if you don't include all that evidence, it's a good chance you're going to get an RFE, and immigration is going to ask for it. Okay? I know the process is not very user-friendly. It's not friendly. It's much easier just to walk across the border into San Diego from Mexico and ask for asylum. Right? And it doesn't cost anything. That's the easy way. But you guys are not doing it that way. You're going by the book. You're following the law. You're doing it the right way. So your beneficiary will never be looking over his or her shoulder, wondering if immigration is going to slap some handcuffs on you and deport you, because you're doing it the right way. You're going by the book, congressional law. Every country in the world has an immigration process. When I went to live in Colombia, they gave me permission to live in Colombia for 12 months. The Colombian government gave me permission to live there for 12 months. I had to go through a background check with the Colombian police. I had to have a medical. Did I have a medical? Yeah, I had to get. I mean, it was like They had to take my fingerprints. I had to go to biometrics, and then I got my cedula. My cedula was issued to me from the Colombian government. They said, Diego, you can live in Colombia for a year. I said, well, thank you very much. But it wasn't me just flying to Colombia or sneaking across the border and from Ecuador or Panama. There's a process in place. And it's about freaking time the U.S. government starts enforcing its process too. Because I'm about sick and tired of all these illegal immigrants coming in our country and then demanding all this free stuff, when we are paying thousands of dollars to bring our beneficiaries to the United States legally, right? I think more Latinas are more angry at illegals than anybody else, right? You got people from Cuba come to America legally. They go through the visa process, from Venezuela, from Panama, from Ecuador, from Chile, from Peru, right? From Bolivia. You got lots of people coming from Brazil. All these people coming to America from South America and Latin America, and they go through hell to get their freaking green card and their K-1. They go through hell and back, right? And then they get their K-1 visas and their green cards, and they can get a little bit of a breather. Then they got to redo this stuff over again for the 10-year green card. And you got these illegal immigrants coming in here getting all this stuff for free. They're up in New York. I want a hotel room. I want a credit card. I want this. I want that. How about kiss my you-know-what and go back to your home country and start the process over with the consular officer at the embassy, which is the way to do it. Right? Right? Karina's like, what the heck, you know? Yeah. Amen, Jeff Draper. Espe, your employer is supposed to state how much one makes hourly or annually for the record. It depends on the job that you have. Okay? If you are self-employed, let's suppose you're a real estate agent, you don't know how much money you're going to make in a year. You got no idea. It depends on if you sell a house or not, right? But if you work for an hourly wage, let's suppose you're a registered nurse and you get paid $50 an hour by the hospital. You can get a calculation of how much money you're going to make in a year. Your employer is going to write a letter stating how much you make based upon a determined amount. That's an estimate. It can't be an exact amount because you could get a pay raise. If you are I don't know, if you're an engineer for a tech company, or if you're a computer programmer, you could get paid $100,000 a year every year. But what if you get a bonus? You come up with a fantastic design for the company, and you improve the iPhone, and then they want to pay you a bonus because of your technology and because of your skill. So you're going to go with a letter from your boss, which is an estimated annual income. Denise Jefferson is in the house. Hello, Diego and Karina. Do we need all of those things mentioned or a combination thereof? We submitted the 1040, the transcript, the bank deposits, but no pay stubs. It seems like the bank deposits and stubs are equal. Yeah, Denise, they're equal, but I'm just trying to load up I'm trying to load up the K1 visa. I'm trying to load up the green card application so that there is no doubt. There is zero doubt in the mind of the immigration officer that the income that's coming in is the income that's coming in. And if you got different ways to prove it, it reduces the chance of an RFE. But Denise, if you submitted the 1040, the tax transcript, the bank deposits, that's 3 out of 4, right? Well, actually, did you include a letter from the boss saying how much you make per year? That's a strong evidence right there. If you can get a letter from the boss, I recommend that gets included. Like my broker wrote a letter telling immigration that I'm in Colombia. He gave me permission to be there, but he really didn't have any choice because I'm an independent contractor. So I'm going to go whether I want to or not. But he wrote a letter saying I was there, which my income came down. Immigration read the letter. They said, okay, Diego was in Colombia for 11 months. Boom. Denise Jefferson, I included my annual notice of increase. There you go. That's all you need. You're good, Denise. You included everything that's required. I would have included pay stubs just as extra. It's padding. It's extra padding, right? Extra padding, but you did good. You're going to be perfectly fine. And Jeff Draper, I'm glad the interview in Bogota wasn't so bad. It wasn't the scary interview. It wasn't so bad. Let me see here. Bud Garcia in Washington State, right? And your beneficiary, your fiance, is in Thailand, right? North of Bangkok. And you just came back from Thailand, right, Bud? I have a question. Does my fiance need all pages of the DS-160 or just the confirmation? Just the confirmation page. Immigration, the U.S. Embassy, already has the entire DS-160. They've got your beneficiary's entire life history. So just the confirmation page, okay, bud? Sorry for the interview. Sorry for her interview on the 25th of the month. Just the DS-160 confirmation page. That's it. The embassy already has all the rest. You're welcome, bud. I've saved you how much money? Do you like my Mountain Dew hat? Karina bought this for me for Father's Day. Denise Jefferson, I included my annual notice of increase. You're good, Denise. You're good. Yes, we did pay stubs to aid in the K1 approval. Okay, very good. Wouldn't they have those on file? Just not recent pay stubs. No, Denise, your K1 visa application went to Louisville, Texas, and then it went to, I don't know, Texas or California. I don't know if it went to California, probably, right? They will take out what they need and they will scan it to the NVC, and then the NVC will send it to the embassy. Other stuff like that will get shredded. They don't have time to be scanning all that stuff. It's up to us, the sponsors, to provide the information and repeat the information for the green card application. Bud Garcia, okay, thank you. No problem, Bud. We're glad. Did you have a good vacation in Thailand? Bud, you never told us about your vacation in Thailand. What did you do? Did you go anywhere? Did you ride on any elephants? Did you eat lots of Thai food? Did you go to Chiang Mai? Did you get sunburned? What did you do while you were in Thailand? I've never been, but my dad lives there. My dad lives in Chiang Mai. He's been in there. My dad's lived in Thailand for like 25 years, at least. My mom died. He married a lady from Thailand, started a new family. She was like, I don't know, 25 years younger than him, and he started a family, and he opened a restaurant. Well, she had the restaurant, but he, backed it up. He works there. Thailand's a great place to be, but I'm not going to go because it's too far. It's muy lejos. I mean, flying on an airplane for me is like punishment. Going through an immigration checkpoint, going through connecting flights at airports to me is like punishment. So I don't do it. But I did for Karina because I'm making sure Karina's going to be here with me. But I don't like going through immigration checkpoints. It's so hard for me to keep my mouth shut and not say something smart, you know. Oh, Diego, let me ask you this. You were in Colombia for 5 months. Why was that? None of your freaking business. That's what I want to say, right? None of your freaking business, dude. I'm an American citizen. Stick the question up where you don't shine. But you can't do that. Well, I was with my beautiful Prometida Karina getting ready for her K1 visa. Right? You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Bud Garcia, yeah, I did. It was great. We went to the Koi Samui. What is a Koi Samui? What is that? What's a Koi Samui? And it was amazing. It's in southern Thailand. Did you go to the beaches? Did you go to, what is it? Phuket Beach? That's the name of the beach, right? Denise Jefferson. Hopefully no RFE. No, I think you're good. No, you're not going to get an RFE, Denise. In your opinion, does the USCIS not review the package until the bios are complete? That's correct. Hopefully the RFE would be sent sooner than later. You would have had it already by now. Denise, you would have had your RFE already by now. You didn't get an RFE. I'm going to give you a Mountain Dew salute because you passed the test. Once the biometrics is done, like Karina, once she had her biometrics, that's when the green card thing process starts. That's what the lady said. This chair squeaks. No, Denise, you're good. Relax. You're good. Really, Denise, you are a top student on this channel. You're a top student. You haven't made any mistakes. Bud Garcia, yes, it is an island in the south. An island in the south. So you went to a place, what was it called again? I can't remember. Chop Suey? What was it called? I'm looking where is it? Koh Samui. So Koh Samui is an island in the southern Thailand. Fantastic. Denise Jefferson. Now come on, Denise. We already got you done through this process. But thank you for that super chat. Denise, you don't have to do that. We got you through the process. Thanks, Diego and Karina, for keeping us up to date in this process. Mountain Dew salute for Denise. Denise, we appreciate you. Now with Jeff's super sticker, and your super chat, we got breakfast covered tomorrow, and I can get a coffee too. Thank you, Denise, for that. We appreciate you. Sylvan Spector, the I-134 asks if I previously submitted an I-134 on the behalf of someone else. I submitted an I-864, not the I-134, 13 years ago for then my wife. I am no longer the sponsor. Should I answer yes to the question? No, you say no because you never filled out. If you have never filled out an I-134, you went through a spousal visa then. What you did, Sylvan, was you went through a spousal visa. You went through an IR1 spousal visa. You had to fill out an I-864, not an I-134 for the visa interview. When you go through the spousal visa, you don't submit an I-134. You submit an I-864. So to answer your question, Sylvan, you will say, no, you have never filled out an I-134 on behalf of somebody else. You filled out an I-864 on behalf of somebody else. And that person, let me see here, 13 years ago, hopefully Sylvan, she's a U.S. citizen by now, and that you are no longer financially responsible for her. Because when you signed the I-864 for your first wife 13 years ago, you promised to take care of her and be responsible for her, even if you got a divorce. Unless she goes back to her home country, she becomes a U.S. citizen, or she gets 10 years worth of Social Security credits. If she meets any of those criteria, then you're no longer financially responsible for her, and you don't have to include it on the I-860 form. But to answer your question, you're going to check, no, you have never filled out an I-134 on behalf of somebody else because you went to an IR1 spousal visa. Aren't you guys glad you're learning all this stuff? It's a great place to hang out, right? Denise Jefferson, concerned about your comment on debt to income ratio. You all agree that they would have to literally pull credit to determine. They can't pull your credit. Yes, my debt to income ratio today is not what it was when I filed. The only way they can figure out your debt to income ratio is what you tell them. They can't pull your credit. They don't have the time to be pulling people's credit. So on page 1, Denise, when you filled out the form I-485 on page 13, you checked, yes, your husband is subject to public charge. And then underneath there, you put what is your household size, right? Which is what, 2? And then underneath there, you put you check the box, what's your household income, right? Remember doing that, right? And then they wanted to then you identified your total value of your household assets, and then you came over to page 14 of form 485, and they asked you, what are your liabilities? How much money do you owe, right? That's how they figure it out. Unless you want to write a letter and tell them, this is my credit score, this is how much my water bill is, this is how much my house payment is, this is how much I pay for my gas each month, this is what my whatever. If you can write a letter breaking down all your bills if you want, and sign it. If you don't sign it, then it becomes worthless. You got everything that you want to identify to immigration. You have to sign it and date it. So Denise, you got nothing to worry about. They're not going to pull your credit. They're not. They don't have time to do that. And if you filled out page 13 and 14 of the form for I-485 and immigration, and you didn't add anything else, then you're good. You got nothing to worry about. But debt to income is, let's suppose you got a $400,000 house and you owe $400,000 on it. So you're in debt for $400,000. What if your income is $50,000 a year and you're in debt $400,000? Your house payment's going to be what, $3,000 a month? That's what immigration's looking at. But they only know if you tell them. Denise Jefferson, we listed our assets, but I do not remember answering the liability question to the fullest. Well, on the liability, basically it says general eligibility and inadmissibility grounds. Identify the total value of your household liabilities. They're asking you, how much money do you have in debt? And you got a choice, $1 to $100, $10 to $57,700, $57,000 to $186,000, and over $186,000. So immigration goes by that. Silver inspector, can they look up student loan debt? No, they don't have time. They do not have the time to do that. They are processing green cards in the thousands. They look at the paperwork you submit. What is your income and what do you owe? And then they make a determination. They don't have time to stop, pull up your student loan. If it's with the federal, is it with the federal government? They could find out. If you have a student loan with the federal government, if my tax dollars are funding student loans, they can find out. But they don't have the time to do that. Sylvan, they don't have time. They don't have time. Bud Garcia, would a dress be good for the interview? Because that is all my fiance wears. I don't think she has any pants. She can wear a dress. Absolutely. A nice spring dress, or it's actually summer now, right? What is it, summer or winter in Thailand? Let's say it's summer. She can wear a summer dress to her K-1 visa interview in Bangkok. I would get some tennis shoes to go with the dress so she's comfortable. She doesn't want to put on high heels. Okay? In Thailand, number one, it's hot, and she's going to be standing up for a long time, probably. So I would wear a nice summer dress and some nice, comfortable tennis shoes. No, I don't wear the engagement ring. Don't wear Don't put any earbuds in. Yeah, like Jeff Draper just says, business casual is always a winner. Business casual is the way to go. Business casual. Jeff Draper, Mountain Dew salute. Again, to Denise Jefferson for that awesome super chat. We thank you, Denise. And to Jeff Draper for his super sticker and the business casual idea. Bud Garcia, okay, that is what she wears, is tennis shoes. Yeah, tennis shoes. They're comfortable. Okay? She doesn't want her feet sweaty and hot and bounding to some tight shoes, waiting for a K1 visa interview, because then she's going to be in pain. And then she won't have a happy smile on her face. The Jay Baxter, goof. I just bought my spouse a dress for her interview yesterday and a nice belt. That's good to make match. I'm glad it is acceptable. Good idea. Yeah. I don't remember. Did you wear no vestido para ti? No, Karina just pulled a dress out of her closet. I think I saved like $20, right? Karina pulled a dress out of her closet. Okay. But we're gonna get her some nice clothes. Huh? Yeah, she got dresses, but we're gonna get some more. We want to get more for Florida, right? Some Florida dresses. But good job, Jay Baxter. And Jeff Draper, business casual is a good way to go. But wear tennis shoes. You know, get some little white shorty socks with some white tennis shoes, so her feet are comfortable. Because you don't want to be, bound up, your feet all bound up and hurting from standing around in high heels for a visa interview. It's not good. So, guys, I've answered a lot of your questions. Throw more questions. Give me all your questions. This is the time to ask me your questions. I don't want you guys having to pay people to do this process for you. Okay? Don't waste your money with these immigration attorneys. It's a waste of money. These companies, if you pay them $800, they'll fill out your green card paperwork for you. Why? How many? It's easy to do. Save your money. I give you this info for free. Bud Garcia, Lee Kakula, waiting. Bud Garcia, we have 9 days till the interview. I'm nervous and she is not. What are you nervous about? Bud, what are you nervous about? You're in a real relationship. You've been dating each other for a long time. You've made lots of trips to see her. You got all this evidence of your relationship. You got all these pictures with her family and her friends, right? This is the last step. It's probably going to be 5 minutes. She's going to go in and they're going to ask her a few questions. What questions? Do you want me to go over some questions with you for the visa interview? They might ask her, Bud, they may say, hey, Bud Garcia, I'm the immigration officer, okay? And Karina is your Thai beneficiary. Karina, what is Bud's middle name? Karina, what is Bud's father's name? Karina, where does Bud live? Karina, what's Bud's address? What is his address in Washington State? Where are you going to be living in Washington State? It's not difficult, Bud. Let me answer this question from Denise. 1 second. Denise Jefferson, Diego, we are so anxious for the EAD. You're going to get it in about 3 months. That my husband is applying for jobs while we wait. He has already received interviews. Can you confirm that it is okay to fill out applications and interviews but not work? How is he going to fill out a job application without a work permit number? When Karina applied for her job in merchandising and security, okay, the first thing that was on the application was, are you here as a green card holder? Are you here as a work permit holder? Or you are a U.S. citizen? Well, right now she's on a work permit. And then the next question is, what is the receipt number? What is the work permit number? What is your immigration number? Well, we used her alien number from the NOA-2 letter. Okay? But, I mean, you want, your husband's name is Kenneth, right, Denise? Kenneth, you're asking me, can Kenneth fill out applications and interview but not work? Yes, he can fill out an application and he can go to a job interview, but he can't work until he gets the work permit, because they're going to need that work permit. They're going to want to see the work permit in their hand. You cannot make a copy of it. The job that Karina started work at, they made her bring in her work permit and they looked at it. They touched it. And then they made a copy of it. They wouldn't let Karina make a copy of her work permit. They made a copy of her original work permit and her passport. Her passport. It's okay, Denise. I know you're anxious. You want to get Kenneth working. He can go to job interviews. He can go and you can fill out applications. But if they're asking you for information, yes, we are avoiding those applications that ask for those specifics. For example, it says, well, you need the U.S. to sponsor you. We simply say no. No, you don't need a sponsor. Denise, you are the sponsor. So he's already covered. He's just waiting on his work permit. Right? You're waiting and waiting for the work permit. You'll get it in about 3 months. Karina got her work permit in 88 days. So what is that? 88 days. Where's the calculator? This is the 40-year-old calculator. This is 40. I know it's more. I got this calculator in 1982. Okay, so we're gonna go with 88 days divided by 30. 2.9 months. 3 months to get the work permit. But yeah, Denise, you are the sponsor, and you don't. Yeah, you put no. You don't. He doesn't need a sponsor in the United States. A company's not sponsoring him. You did, and he's approved already. You're just waiting on the work permit. Aquarius to Bud Garcia. Good luck to your fiance. Please come back on here and let us know how it goes. Aquarius. Bud Garcia has been on this channel hanging out with us forever. We got him through the NOA-1 to the NOA-2. We got him to the NVC welcome letter. And the NVC welcome letter was a pain for Bud. Bud Garcia had such a hard time with the NVC welcome letter. If she doesn't, and Bud is asking, if she doesn't know some answers, don't want that to hurt her in the interview. Listen, when you go for your K-1 visa interview, this is everybody watching this channel right now. You are going to your K-1 visa interview and you get a question and you don't know how to answer it. You say, I don't know. And then you shut your mouth and wait for the next question. You don't make anything up. Let's suppose they ask Karina this question. They asked her this question. Do I have a brother? Yeah, I got a brother. And then they asked her, what's his name? Well, Karina knows his name. But if she didn't know his name, she would have said, I don't know. But I know he's got a brother. And then shut up. That's how you deal with these people. Don't lie and don't make stuff up. Don't try to make up something to answer a question. If you don't know the answer, say I don't know. Honesty will get you the K-1 visa, not what's the best word? Don't make something up to try to pass the test, because it's not a test. They've already decided the fate of your K-1 visa right as you go into the window. They already know whether they're going to approve you or not. They're just going to ask you some basic questions. Jeff Draper, is the K-1 green card serve as a work permit? Jeff, let me go over this with you. The green card is a work permit. The green card is permission to live, work, and become an American. The green card gives you permission to live and work in the United States of America as a legal permanent resident. When you get your green card, you go to the Social Security Administration and you update your green card status. A work permit is temporary. So let's suppose you want to work while waiting for your green card. Let's say it takes 6 months to get your green card, but you can get a work permit in 3 months. So you get the work permit, you use the work permit until the green card comes in. When the green card comes in, then the work permit's irrelevant. You can put it in your desk drawer as a souvenir of this immigration nightmare. Make it part of your memory souvenirs, right? Now you've got the green card. This is the card that lets you live here, work here. You just can't vote. Now you can be you can politic, you can chant and support this political person or that political person, but you can't vote. You can buy a gun. The Second Amendment of the United States of America allows a legal permanent resident to go buy a gun. The Constitution of the United States applies to legal permanent residents. First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, everything. The Constitution belongs to everybody who is here legally and who is a U.S. citizen. But if you're not a citizen, you just can't vote. You got it? The work permit is something that you use temporarily to use, like Karina's working on her work permit. But when her green card comes in, she's going to go, she'll show her boss her green card. Hey, boss, look, I got my green card. And he's go, okay, you're good. You got it? Bud Garcia, yes, I will, Aquarius. And thank you, Sylvan, Spector. In the interview, did they ask for some concrete evidence for plans to get married in the U.S., wedding invitations or something like that? They can. They can. I've made a video on wedding plans for the K-1 visa application. If you go into the channel, this is your YouTube channel, guys. It's not mine. It's not Karina's. It's Karina's idea. She come up with this idea to make this channel. But if you go into the channel and type in Diego Ross wedding plans, watch the video, and it will tell. It's not very long, 5-10 minutes. I don't know. It tells you how to make wedding plans for the K-1 visa interview. The consular officer can ask you, do you have any wedding plans when you get to the United States? And your answer better be yes. Okay? If your answer is no, that's a problem. So make sure you got wedding plans. How do you make wedding plans? You don't know what day you're going to be in America. You don't know when you're going to get your K-1 visa. You don't know what, you just don't know. But you can put wedding plans together. And I'm not going to go over it in the live stream, but if you watch the video, Diego Ross wedding plans, watch the video, and you will know how to do this. And then if the immigration officer at the embassy interview says, hey, do you have wedding plans? And you say, yeah, I got wedding plans. And then the consular officer is going to do one of two things. He or she's going to say, okay, show me. Or he's going to go to the next question. Okay, great. And now now he says, okay, great. Now we're going to go to the next question. Or the consular officer could say, okay, you got wedding plans. Do you have them with you? And you're going to have this big cat's eye, right? You're going to have this like cats in the headlights, okay? You don't want that reaction. You're going to say, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I got my wedding plans. And you reach in your bag and you pull out your wedding plans and you give it to the consular officer. But in the wedding plans, you're not going to have a date of the wedding. You're not going to have a day of the wedding. But you can have a time. You can have a location. You can have a restaurant picked out for your reception, right? You can have a church picked out. You can have a mosque picked out. You can have a synagogue picked out. You can pick. You can have a Church of Latter-day Saints church picked out for your wedding, right? But you just don't know the day. If you watch the video, I explained to you how to create wedding plans, just in case you get that question, and it covers you. But wedding invitations are also something you can buy. Yeah. Jeff Draper, got it. Okay, Jeff, great. Destiny's Room, hi again. Question for today. Can child support earn last year count as income? Yes, it can, because it's taxable. If we add it to my co-sponsor's total income for 2023, then she meets the 100% for K1. Yes, you can. You can add it. Not a problem. It's taxable income. It's fine. When you file taxes, if you get child support, they ask on the 1040 how much it is. Bud Garcia, I got a letter from a preacher stating he is going to do our wedding, but waiting for the time of her to bring her here. Would that be considered as a wedding plan? Most definitely. But that is 100% a Mountain Dew salute to Bud Garcia, because that is definitely a wedding plan. But you need more than just that. Email a restaurant. Say, hey, I'm bringing my fiance from Thailand to the United States, and I was wondering if your restaurant can host a reception. Are you going to have a reception at this restaurant? It doesn't matter if you are or if you're not, but you sent them the email, and they email you back. Oh yeah, we can host a wedding reception here. What day? What time? And then you reply back. I don't know the day. I don't know yet because we're working on the visa. And then you print those emails from the restaurant. Those are wedding plans. Destiny's Room. Okay, thank you. I will check in on that. Yeah, Destiny's Room. You can use it. Okay, guys. I've been talking an hour and a half. I want some tacos or pizza or a salad. Okay. I don't know. I want something to eat. Hang on. Denise Jefferson gets the last word. Denise Jefferson. Diego and Karina. Karina got her employment authorization document approved before her actual card. Do you agree that once you get notice that you are approved, we can tell employers that we have our work permit? No, because you don't have it. You got to have it in your hand. It's got to be in your hand. You don't want to get caught up in an immigration nightmare like somebody did. Okay, somebody on this channel got a job working with the Social Security number. Well, my work permit's on the way. It's on the way. I got approved. It's on the way. And they got hired. And then immigration sent the company and the sponsor a letter with a mismatch from Homeland Security. Homeland Security said, okay, well, we haven't issued you a freaking work permit yet. So how are you working with your Social Security number? And it became a problem. Don't do it. Denise, do not start work for Kenneth. For Kenneth's sake, I'm protecting you. Denise, I'm trying to protect you, okay? Wait until you get the work permit in your hand. Then put him to work. Kick him out of the house and say, get to work. Okay, Destiny's Room. Good night. All right, Denise, do you understand what I'm saying? But her EAD took 10 days to arrive after it was approved. That is the period I'm inquiring about. Okay. You don't start work unless you got the work permit in your hand. Okay? The work permit in your hand, then that's when you start the process. Jeff Draper, big thanks to you and your beautiful Karina for the service you all perform. I know it must be a passion. Guys, I want to see you guys get your green cards, get your work permits, get your K1 visas, Karina's working. She was chomping at the bit. I want to go to work. I want to go to work. I want to go to work. And I kept telling her, no. Not until you get your work permit in your hand. And she's grateful for that now, because we're not getting any nasty letters from Homeland Security saying, hey, what's the deal? We'll see you guys, okay? Thanks, Diego. Got it. Thanks, Diego and Karina. And Jeff Draper and Destiny's Room will report what happens on our K1 interview in Casablanca, September 10th. And we're out of here, guys. I got to eat something. You like my hat? See you later.